box is locked, the lights are on. It is JoJo fighting time. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die, episode 3.
Man, I really can't believe it's already episode 3, and we're already to this point of JoJo.
My name is Grant. That person just talking is Chip, and we are here to talk about the final third, episode 789, concluding part 1.
Phantom Blood.
Phantom Blood.
The names of the parts of JoJo, I could say them all right now, and it doesn't matter because the titles have nothing to do with anything regarding their story, generally.
I mean, there is a through line between blood and vampires, but I don't know what
Sure.
Phantom has to do with anything.
I literally don't think there are any phantoms in this. Pretty sure. Unless I'm somehow forgetting the thing I just watched a few days ago. No phantoms.
So let's get right to it with episode 7, Sorrowful Successor. I wonder if it's also alliterative in Japanese. I can only hope.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
We ended episode 6 with Baron Zeppeli striding forward, wondering, is this the day that I was prophesied to die?
Yeah.
So we immediately flash back to Tibet in 1863 and find out that, yes, it very definitely is.
Yep. So yeah, it's a younger Zeppeli training with Master Tom Petty / Tom Petty. I like the training they're doing on the very high up above the temple in this mountain range where they're just balancing on these really thin ropes.
Yeah, you say high, but judging by the height of the temple and the perspective, they're about 2 miles in the air.
Yeah.
They are higher than any building has ever been built.
Yeah, I actually just scrolled back to that part to see how high, and it's very high.
They're building a space elevator. They're approaching orbit.
Maybe they're that high up to challenge the breathing for Hamon because
because the air is so thin.
Yeah.
Ah.
There you go.
Disappointed that Baron Zeppeli does not have a mustache at this age. Kind of sad.
Oh yeah, he looks so different without it.
But the point of this scene, the thing that actually happens in it,
right,
is Zeppeli is demanding to know more about this prophecy of his death. And Tanpari's like, okay, fine. Here's how it's going to go down. And he describes exactly what has happened leading up to this point, down to Poco crawling through the window.
Yep. Yeah, like Chow will open the way for you, and he's gonna unchain a lion to the future of his destiny or something like that. I guess JoJo's a lion now.
JoJo's a lion. He's a JoJo lion.
Hey.
Yeah.
Part 8. I don't know what's going on in part 8. All I know is the name, really.
So yeah, it's a much more specific prophecy than we were led to believe, and Zeppeli is definitely about to die.
Yeah, it's like the first time I watched this, I really thought like, okay, he's gonna get some vague prophecy that vaguely lines up with like a lot of things he'll encounter in his life when he's fighting vampires all the time, but like no.
No.
No, he gonna die.
He gonna die. So let's get back to the present, and it's time for him gonna die. Mm-hmm. He tries to impress everyone with his acrobatics. He does some tumbling passes to dodge Tarukus's strikes.
Yeah. You'd think with the prophecy of Zeppeli, like, gonna eat it in this fight, that he's gonna go out, like, at least doing something, like, really fucking cool and defeating Tarukus, but...
That is not the case.
He gets owned very quickly. Tarukus just... He leaps above him, and Zeppeli is just thinking, oh no, an attack from above? And then JoJo's saying, oh no, attack from below! And Tarukus is like, you're both right! It's both!
He calls it his heaven snake kill. I call it wrapping a chain around a guy.
Yeah, he wraps his chain around Zeppeli.
The chain that is binding his neck to JoJo's.
Yeah.
If you'll recall.
Yeah, through the ceiling. So, yeah, it gets wrapped around Zeppeli. One of his arms gets pinned to his side. He yanks down on the... Tarukus yanks down on the chain, so now JoJo is being pulled all the way up, so his head is hitting the ceiling really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he just pulls on the chain really hard, and oops, Zeppeli's in 2 pieces now.
Yeah, 3 if you count the severed arm. Yeah,
because the pinned arm gets cut in half as well. And yeah, Zeppeli just fucking eats it.
Like if you've ever used like dental floss to precisely cut Play-Doh or something, that is exactly what happens to the body of Baron Zeppeli.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, it's censored in the Netflix version, but it's pretty gory.
It's pretty messed up. Also, the camera is really focused on Speedwagon's reaction.
Yes.
And Robert E.O. Speedwagon has not had a particularly close relationship with Baron Zeppeli. I don't know why this choice was made.
Again, it's just...
It's his natural empathy, I guess.
It's so funny that, like, Speedwagon was, like, a mugger willing to, like, cut people to death with his knife hat when he's just, like, so in tune with, like, he's just so empathetic with people.
He's got a big heart, that boy.
As he says, and is the only thing he ever really does, is that he's a great judge of characters. So I guess he was just also struck immediately by Zeppeli as being a great man or something. I don't know. But, yeah, he screams a lot. It cuts back to his face like 3 times.
And I'm thinking, oh, there's no way Zeppeli is dead. This was way too anticlimactic a death.
Yes.
It can't be the real death. It's the real death, eventually.
Eventually. Zeppeli does get to do like something. But yeah, after Zeppeli's like 3 chunks fall to the ground, like JoJo falls to the ground too, because when he got yanked up and hit his head really hard in the ceiling, he also got his neck got broken.
Yes. And Tarukus thinks he doesn't have any use for being clever. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Selling yourself short, Tarukus.
The chain thing, great idea. Like, there was planning in that. Like, he went, aha, I know what this place is. I am going to the chain deathmatch room and lie in wait for them. That's planning. That's cleverness. Come on. So Tarukus, concludes that they're both dead, but JoJo is able to, takes like a sharp intake of breath. He's not actually dead yet, despite having a broken neck. And while Tarukus is getting ready to kill JoJo, Zeppeli is also still alive.
Somehow.
And he slowly crawls over to JoJo. He goes, okay, here goes. This is my ultimate technique. And I got to look up the name for his ultimate technique here. Yeah, while holding JoJo's hand, he basically transfers all of the hormone left in his body into JoJo.
How are you hormoning? Your lungs are 8 feet away. What are you doing? It's
his ultimate deep pass overdrive. So yeah, basically he shoots all of his hormone from his body into JoJo. While he's doing this, his hair goes from being black and still colored, and it goes gray, like the life force is draining out of him or whatever.
And JoJo's body swells even thicker.
He gets even thicker, and his shirt rips off. It just fucking flies off his body. I love that part.
So yeah, one more thing about Hamon they forgot to tell us is that sometimes it's the Highlander quickening.
When there's a lot of hormone, I guess it is just the quickening, yeah.
So from here on out, the rest of the fight, JoJo is supercharged. Mm-hmm. His hormone is not only doubled, but multiplied several times over.
It's visible.
And this is just Neo in the subway, right? Like, he has ascended to another level. He is untouchable.
Yep, that's basically what this is. JoJo is now so strong that he's able to, 1, pull on the chain so hard that he lifts Tarukus into the air, and then while Tarukus says, even I can't break that steel collar around your neck, JoJo just snaps it right off his damn neck. JoJo is super pissed, wants to immediately avenge Zeppeli. He chops Tarukus' arm off with the single chop. Mm-hmm. I really like the part where Tarukus gets really pissed. And so Tarukus, most of his teeth are just fangs now. He has very few normal people teeth. But he gets so pissed off that he clenches his teeth, and the 2 front fangs he just snaps right off. And then
spits them at JoJo's face really hard. It's not a particularly effective super move.
No, like they just stab into JoJo's cheek, and I mean, like, it looks like it hurts like hell, but it doesn't really do much to his superpowered anime man.
You saw what he did to his own hands with the ice earlier, right? Like, come on.
Yeah. JoJo just brushes that tooth attack off and just fucking punches Tarukus in the head and just melts him into nothing.
The end.
Tarukus, done.
So now it is time to grieve our still not dead mentor figure. I think it's Speedwagon who cries out, "This is all so terribly wrong." Like, yeah, no shit.
But yeah, Zeppeli is like visibly older now, white hair. He's got like wrinkles and all that.
He lets out some really wise words considering his body's in 3 pieces and he aged 30 years in a minute.
Yeah. He's basically telling JoJo, like, you have to carry on my life's work. He brings up that he left a wife and child behind to
and
pursue.
That he never regretted it.
Yeah, and he was just like, despite that, I don't regret doing this.
You're my real son, special hero boy.
Yeah.
I did tell my wife to fuck right off, and I'm proud.
Tom Petty never told me that my son was a lion. Now you, on the other hand.
And the great irony is that if Zeppeli were made of flowers, then JoJo could like fix him right up. He'd be fine.
Yeah.
But no, he is made of meat.
Yeah, I always wonder because, Hamon can restore wounds, but it can't really like glue arms back together or anything like that. But I do wonder, like, if JoJo could also do Deep Pass Overdrive, could he just send the life force back into Zeppeli and he would be good? Or I don't know.
Well, he never learned that one from Tom Petty.
I guess so, yeah.
So as Zeppeli passes, we get a book report from the narrator. I didn't really ask for.
I love the narrator in part 1, just because he also just chimes in a lot of the time when he doesn't need to. But yeah, Dio's already found like a nice castle, Dracula castle to live in.
No. I want to talk more about the death scene.
Okay, sure.
Because specifically, the narrator chimes in with a quote from William Makepeace Thackeray.
That's right.
Yeah, who wrote Vanity Fair and The Luck of Barry Lyndon. Barry Lyndon as in the Stanley Kubrick movie. It's a fancier version of like Better to Have Loved and Lost than Never Loved at All, right?
Yeah.
But much more literary. And like, who cares? Are we really saying that Baron Zeppeli, the man who just bragged about, abandoning his own son, was really full of love because of his love for Johnathan Joestar? That is his ultimate love.
I don't know. His love for all of mankind, sacrificing his life to stop vampires. I don't know. I do love though that while that part is happening, the camera pans up to the sky as they set like a funeral pyre for Zeppeli's body. Image of Zeppeli that is like floating up in the sky. It's not just him sitting there smiling, it's him kind of making like a little bit of like a kissy face. He's like pursing his lips a little bit. I don't know if that's like I'm breathing in the hormone way or what, but I just thought that part was funny.
Also, once again, every time that someone cares for JoJo, they die and he absorbs their spirit. So if I'm Ario Speedwagon right now, I'm looking left, I'm looking right, and I'm hoping Poco is next because I got to get the fuck out of here.
Man, if Speedwagon died, I don't think JoJo would inherit much from him, really.
He'd get a hat.
He'd get a hat.
Except we see that in this episode, Speedwagon inherits a hat.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because Speedwagon lost his previous hat, so now he is picked up and will, from now on, be wearing Zeppeli's black and white checkered hat.
We also see him later carrying Bluford's sword for JoJo. Just like as a favor? I don't know.
I just wonder if Speedwagon is always hoping for a chance at action, but it just never works for him because everything is just too overpowered for him.
Dio has conquered a castle, and he tries to convince one of the locals to become his willing thrall because all of his minions willingly gave their souls to him. That's just the way we roll here in the Dio Club. And so he convinces her by essentially saying, "Excuse me, madam, but have you considered that vampirism owns?"
Yeah.
Even for babies.
Yeah, this lady is just terrifying, saying like, please just spare my baby. He's just like, okay, as long as you willingly become a vampire for me or a zombie or whatever. And so she agrees to that. He jabs his vampire fingers in her forehead, and so now she's like a zombie or whatever. And then she immediately eats her own baby. And Dio's like, I kept my word. I didn't kill your baby.
He finds it amusing that the irony is lost on her. Like that's how little humanity is left in these thralls. You can see this irony from space, and it is still lost on her.
Yeah, I also love that in this scene here is the only time you ever see any attempt of somebody trying to use a crucifix on him. I think, or at least having like a crucifix near him, because it doesn't do anything. He's just holding it in his hand, and he just crushes it.
Smushes it.
Yeah. And after that, like, no one ever attempts again to try to use a crucifix on him. It's just not something that does anything to vampires in this world. After that, JoJo and company, which is now just Speedwagon and Poco, two useless allies. I guess Poco has done one thing. He pulled a switch. He's small.
Kids these days, they love to get a switch.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, they are finally, back on land, walking towards further into Wind Night Slot. And Speedwagon is thinking to himself, and even says, only in the English dub. One of the reasons why I like the English dub is just how many times Speedwagon says "Struth." That's fun.
It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah, he's thinking like, damn, Johnathan seems like a different man now. He's like so serious and buff. I think he said something like, it's as if the shutters were drawn close on his soul.
And you call him useless. Come on.
Okay, sure. Speedwagon's a poet.
So we come across a local, a man named Mr. Adams, who is very upset. Yeah,
he's upset at Poco. Just saying like, boy, you've been gone a long time. You're really worrying your sister. And it's like, oh, phew, this guy is still normal. He hasn't been turned or anything.
But then,
whoa,
the trend has been that whatever bizarre powers these zombies have has some connection to something they did in life. I do not want to know what Mr. Adams did to get like 8-foot tongue powers as a zombie. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I love the reveal of his tongue powers because it's like, they talk for a little bit and they say their goodbyes, and Mr. Adams just keeps walking past them, but he stops, and you get this shot of him just like stone face for a second, and then he just slowly sticks his tongue out, and then it just very slowly just keeps going and going.
It wreathes his head. Like it's the one dog from Undertale. It just keeps going.
Yeah, it's basically that. I love that when he turns around and is about to try to do like a sneak attack on JoJo and the gang, that not only does his shirt erupt, but like his skin erupts to reveal his like zombie monster demon form that was hiding underneath. Like from this point on, the zombies get stranger and stranger looking, because I think because they look just like this in the manga too. I think Araki, when drawing, was just like, every one of these guys has to look different.
Yeah.
They just, I gotta get all my wacky monster designs out, like, here and now.
If they all look the same, they might as well be people.
Yeah. This guy's got, like, a mohawk of, like, spikes on his head now.
And he is defeated by JoJo grabbing his tongue and kicking his face into the dirt.
Yeah, just melting his face.
It's very good. And then they are accosted by yet more weirdos upon the road.
It's a lot of weird dudes on this single road.
A lot of weird dudes in town.
This man, also a huge buff dude.
His name is Dyer, he says.
Yeah, Dyer. He jumps at JoJo.
He looks like a Mega Man X bad guy to me.
Oh, God, you're right. Yeah, he looks like a relative of Sigma, kind of.
Yes.
He's got a similar head, like, face to Sigma, too, with, like,
and with a name like Dyer, he fits into Mega Man X pretty well.
Yeah, you really wouldn't have to do much to this guy's character design. Just give him a little bit more of, like, the Mega Man style, like, robot limbs, and I think you're good. But Dyer leaps up into the air at JoJo and goes in for, like, a double kick. But JoJo remarks, wow, this is a really slow kick. like Dyer physically just travels through the air very slowly while doing this kick.
And again, how can we as the viewer tell without that? Because we're always just having pages of spoken word.
Yeah.
It basically slam poetry in the middle of every kick.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, Dyer, when he connects with JoJo's block, instead does the splits.
Yeah.
To open him up wide.
Yeah, and while still frozen doing the splits in the air, Dyer leans forward real hard with both hands like out, like his arms cross against each other, and he's going in for like a thunder cross split attack or something like that.
Yes,
thunder split attack.
Which has the incredible advantage tactically of being both a strike, but also being in a blocking position at the same time. It's the ultimate blend of offense and defense. This slow jumping man is an absolute strategic, genius.
Yeah. Except that the single flaw in this attack is that what if the guy just headbutts you really hard, which is what JoJo does.
And Dyer is so impressed because any normal man would try to dodge by moving backward, and that is when they are truly in Dyer's trap. But no, JoJo is not a normal man because he headbutts into danger. Like, if that's what it takes for you to know that JoJo's not a normal man, you have not been paying attention.
Yeah, but after that headbutt, Dyer's just like, wait, I'm a friend, I'm normal. as much as a man can be normal in this world.
Normal is a pretty big word. But yeah, he's part of an adventuring party who explained that they were all just off screen waiting for Zeppeli to eat it big time.
Yeah, they had received a letter from Zeppeli that he had sent, I guess, prior to them traveling out to Win Night Slot. That's when he sent it.
Yes. I mean, the mail was way better than I expected. Either that or they were also somewhere in England.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Dyer. There's another guy walking up a part of this party whose name is Straightso. So they're just
Straightso.
Yeah, Dyer Straits.
Finally, something for the Straits in this show.
But yeah, so now we got Dyer and Straight, like Dyer Straits, and also Master Tom Petty is there with them. He came all the way from Tibet for this.
Master Tom Petty is somehow surprised to hear that Zeppeli has passed on. It was your prophecy, dude.
Yeah, I guess.
Come on. You ought to know.
I just wish there was an extra line of like, already? Damn, that was quick. Like, I thought that wouldn't happen for another decade or something.
So you're a lion. All right, good to know. Good to know.
Cool. All right. So yeah, now we've got three other light Hamon masters joining in the party all of a sudden. There's a part where JoJo goes to shake Master Tom Petty's hand. He looks at JoJo's hand, seeing like the Hamon aura and going like, that's Zeppeli's Hamon there, all right.
But also, we don't shake hands.
we shake
bow
hands.
Honorably.
We bow. Yeah, so they all bow.
Speedwagon is just a gog at the bow. He's so impressed by bowing. It's like, yeah, this is some dope shit. All right, let's bow.
It's just fun to see like Speedwagon's values changing in real time. Every time he's just impressed by a man he is struck by as like being this incredible, selfless, honorable man, like more and more of that becomes his identity as well. Just like striving to be that.
I'm a bowing guy now.
Oh man, I love to bow.
I live in an empire that the sun never sets on. We're kind of inventing Orientalism right now. Yeah, I'm into bowing. Bowing's the shit.
But yeah, now that we have this, we have resupplied our party with more Hamon users. They
got reinforcements.
They talk about like, even if we had gotten here earlier, Zeppeli's fate would have been the same because it was, destined and all that. And they're talking about getting ready to make an assault on Dio. And as they say that, we see like evil like wind lines coming out from the castle off in the horizon. And when it goes back to Dio, he's like lounging in a big vampire chair, and he's got two dogs on his lap that he has glued human heads onto. And on his shoulder, he's got a bird that he's glued a cat head onto. I love it.
Because we all know that one of the great descendants of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and its literary influence is Mars Attacks.
Yep.
It all goes back to JoJo.
Yeah.
But not only does he have these freaky chimeras, he also has a lady. And there are so few ladies in the show, I thought, it must be Arena. It's not Arena. No, it's Poco's sister.
Yeah, it's Poco's sister. They just look kind of similar. They're both blonde ladies of about the same age. And yeah, that's where the episode ends on that cliffhanger, Dio having Poco's sister with him.
Mm-hmm. So that brings us to episode 8, Bloody Battle, JoJo and Dio. I wonder what is going to happen. So Poco makes it home. Where he's berated by his father for getting brainwashed and bringing a team of superheroes. If Poco's dad has said it once, he said it 1,000 times. Never bring superheroes into our home. We are simple peasants, Poco.
Like, Poco gets fucking struck by his dad over this. Like, he gets fucking slapped across the face for this.
That's just how the family says hello.
I guess so, yeah. But I love that, you hear Poco's dad kind of, scolding him, and halfway through it cuts to the rest of the party outside just listening in on this, and it's just really funny to see the difference in Poco's dad, who is of a normal muscular build, and then seeing all these freaks outside who are like 3 times as wide as him, just all sitting there just going like, oh man, he's really giving it to Poco.
Back at Castle Dio, Dogface, the people face dogs, still weird, still there, still weird, don't like them.
I just love that, and at the start and then even here, it's just like there's nothing in the story or the direction to go like, whoa, look at these crazy things. It's just like the show's just already thinking that you're going to accept that Dio can just glue heads into other living beings now, which just makes me wonder what happened to the bird and dog heads. Did they get glued onto the people bodies, or did he just throw them in the garbage?
Well, maybe the people face dogs are people who got turned into zombies, and their zombie power is be mostly a dog.
Okay. Sure. But yeah, Dio's talking to Poco's sister. He's kind of trying to convince her into becoming a vampire, because he's lonely. He needs a vampire bride, I guess. I don't know.
He tried with another lady earlier, but then she ate a baby, and he's not into that.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe Dio isn't even lonely. It just seems like he's bored and just likes fucking around.
Yeah.
Because, I guess that's why he made the chimeras here in the first place.
But he's trying to demonstrate his impeccable manners, so at least somebody was paying attention whenever George would talk around the dinner table. Gosh.
One of the 2 dog chimeras starts talking about oh man, this girl's full of such youthful life energy. This is a great pick, Dio. Good job, Lord Dio. And that really pisses Dio off, and so he kicks the dog man really hard and kills it. So that's our 3rd dog death, technically.
Yes.
It's a dog man, but
he says that he won't force his friendship on her despite her being held in captivity. I don't know where you're drawing that line, but it seems like we're splitting hairs, Dio.
By the way, I really want to point out how much I love Dio's outfit in this part.
Yeah.
It's like fancy lad noble clothing, but at the same time, it's already like battle armor, just in case. He's got this big leather chest piece that's strapped over him over his fancy lad clothes.
Oh, I guess we should talk about Johnathan Joestar's new outfit then too. That
right,
because this seems to be the JoJo costume. He has salvaged some of the shackles that he was in to make big pauldrons.
Yes,
and accented it with a little belly shirt. It's not quite a crop top, but it's above the belt.
Yeah, so once Johnathan is in this outfit, this is a recurring outfit that happens a lot throughout the different parts of JoJo there's a lot of dudes with midriffs from now on. And this gets even more pronounced in later parts. Araki is obsessed with fashion. Like he is constantly reading fashion magazines for reference and stuff. So, but if you were a person into the fashion world and you had some knowledge of its history, and then you went back and started reading the beginning of JoJo and the manga, or even just the show, you go, oh, I recognize that pose. It was from Vogue in this issue. Because it's straight up. He's just straight up goes, that's a great pose from this cover of Vogue. I'm gonna put it in JoJo. There's some outfits that are inspired by fashion magazines, and also Prince's outfits make it into JoJo a decent amount. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, But yeah, lots of dude tummies being exposed from JoJo from now on.
So speaking of Dio and manners, he's so polite that he offers to pass along his doobie to Poco's sister.
Yeah, because she refuses to become a vampire. He's just like, well, all right, cool, see you later. Allow me to introduce to you Doobie, one of his better favorite zombie. The
freakiest zombie. As zombies get increasingly more freaky, Doobie is still a cut above.
Yeah, he's a blue-skinned man. Kind of looks like Skeletor a little. Similar build.
Although you don't see that much skin at first, because his head is encased in a burlap sack tied around the neck.
A wiggling burlap sack.
Very wiggly.
I do like he's wearing kind of like a goofy hat on top of the sack, though. It's like a newsboy cap or something.
Doobie's a good boy. We all love Doobie here. So in sort of a Goofus and Gallant situation, JoJo and Co appear, and they have poor manners because JoJo refuses to make introductions.
Yeah, and before you even know that they're there, they drop a fucking cartoon anvil on top of Doobie's head, and makes one of his eyeballs fall out of his face. I think.
Like, of all the things they could have thrown, it is a literal anvil. Like they stopped by the smithy on the way.
Yeah. As you said, they're just like, we won't even introduce ourselves to you because you're just such a lowly, inhuman monster. JoJo jumps from the roof of the building down to the floor to fight Doobie. And as he does that, a bunch of snakes shoot out of Doobie's face and bite JoJo. Yes.
Turns out that's what's wriggling around inside the sack. Doobie is a Medusa.
He's still got like a zombie face, but he's just got snakes like inside his head. Mm-hmm. Just like that he can command. Like they're coming out of his ears even.
Snakes of species that are all identified by Robert E.O. Speedwagon, noted herpetologist.
Yeah, he lists like 3 or 4 different breeds, different types of snakes that he can identify.
But as all of the snakes bite JoJo's face and inject their venom, he flexes his cheekbones to squeeze out the deadly, deadly venoms.
Yeah, while JoJo is getting bitten, you see the reaction of the rest of the crew, and Speedwagon is very worried, but the 3 new Hamon masters all have like smiles on their faces, like, this is no big deal. And yeah, when JoJo squeezes that blood out, they're just like, damn, he's got great blood control. He's good.
Okay, thinking back to something I said in episode 1 about how I really love the way that JoJo, his determination, his refusal to stay down is how he overcomes.
Yeah.
That is no longer true. Mm-hmm. Ever since he accepts the gift of Hamon in the previous episode, he's untouchable. He's basically messianic.
Yes. Yeah.
He's got a glowing fucking aura. He can't be hurt. He can't be touched.
He is Super Saiyan now, essentially. It's only when he first gets the Hamon from Zeppeli that his aura is like visible to everybody. They don't keep doing that, but that's basically just going Super Saiyan at this point. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm sad that his hair doesn't get even bigger though, because then he would have like
everything else did.
Yeah, he would have extreme like 80s metal hair if he did. Now instead he's just got like a normal ass mullet.
He should have got a Bluford's wig instead of his sword.
Oh yeah,
that's the secret. It's a wig. I'm sorry.
It would have been great in battle. Could hold more swords. But yeah, JoJo just very easily just melts Doobie into nothing. Now that they've saved Poco's sister, everyone, descends to the floor inside, and it's just like, okay, time to go fuck up Dio. Let's just go.
But before we defeat Dio, we must speak to Dio. There is an order to these things. There's propriety must be observed. And JoJo talks about his intense, burning hatred for Dio. He hates Dio so much that instead of just colored lighting, we get these brush strokes of light streaks all over.
Yes. Yeah, they've done this a couple times. Like I think this is maybe like the 3rd time. But yeah, there's been times where people have gotten extremely pissed and like their face comes into frame really fast from one side. And yeah, like the light from their eyes and their mouth just like streaks across. It's really cool looking, but they stopped doing it like right after this episode.
Mm-hmm. And JoJo is also talking about how he needs to avenge those he's lost. Mm-hmm. And we see an image of Bluford. Like, yeah. You killed him, dude.
Yeah, like, you forced me to kill Bluford. But it's like, you know what? If
George, yes. Zeppeli, yes. Bluford?
Like, the thing is, if Dio had not set up the situation that forced JoJo to have to kill Bluford would still be dead because he was dead. You wouldn't even care about Bluford.
He lived hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, like, he had his time. He's done.
JoJo also demonstrates that he's a total dork forever by using the phrase boon companion.
Yeah. Zeppeli was a brave man and boon companion. But yeah, as JoJo is getting ready to fight Dio, Dyer steps in front and goes like, wait, I want to fight him. Fuck you, I'm going to beat him up.
Oh, wait, no, yeah. Dyer's the one that calls Zeppeli a boon companion, right?
Oh, it's Dyer, yes, you're right.
Because only these two weirdos would use the phrase boon companion.
Yeah.
That's even beyond JoJo.
Yeah. And so Dyer starts slowly walking towards Dio, and he's got like a fancy walk that we haven't seen him do in the 2 previous scenes he's been in, where he can project multiple copies of himself, like illusions of himself. Dio's like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I don't know. I'm a vampire. It's not that impressive.
He says directly that vampires are better than gurus. Take that.
Yeah.
Screw you, guru.
Dyer does his slow kick. Like, I love it's even slower than the previous kick he did because he jumps extra slow to give Dio time to monologue about his slow ass kick.
Why is that a benefit? Why does that help?
I think the slow kick is supposed to be like he's heavily telegraphing something so he can force his opponents into trying to block the kick.
If somebody is jumping at me really slow somehow,
I would probably just
walk backwards.
Yeah, just move out of the way, dude. unless it's a slow homing kick, like he's Sonic or something, and he's just going to track you wherever you go.
I am a better fighter than Johnathan Joestar. Let it be known.
Dio goes in for the block, and Dyer's like, "Aha! I got you exactly where I want you." And he goes in for the thunder split attack, and like for a split second, Dio is actually caught off guard, like when he does the splits, but it still doesn't matter because Dio, as we've seen before, just freezes Dyer. Except this time, it's everything but his head.
Forgot about the super sweat. You cannot forget about the super sweat.
That's super sweat, dude.
Dio calls Dyer a mongrel, again establishing how much he hates dogs.
Yeah. So, yeah, with Dyer just completely frozen, Dio just shatters him into a million pieces.
And Dyer is still surviving. He still holds on as a severed head. This is the greatest power of Hamon. It allows you to keep on going like a cockroach for days.
Yeah. I just want to say, I love when, this is a hard thing to spot unless like you pause the episode, but when Dio shatters Dyer into a million little chunks, the pose he strikes is really funny because he does a little wink while he's doing it, like he's all sassy about it. But yeah, Dyer's head now just completely severed from his body goes flying into a pot full of roses. While still alive, grabs a rose in his mouth and infuses it with Hamon and spits it into Dio's eye.
Yes,
and then he dies.
So now it is JoJo's turn to do what he has been fated to do, what he wanted to do all along. Step up and take his turn. And he draws the Bluford sword, which we have to be reminded is a sword of both luck and pluck, via a little insert card in the bottom corner that looks like the life points in an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, it absolutely does. It is straight up like they just changed the colors. It's so funny.
It's so out of place. It doesn't fit.
Yeah. Like, I would have to go back, but I think that box coming in like that is straight up what it was in the manga, too.
They wouldn't have done something so discordant otherwise.
Yeah, it's a funny thing about this adaptation that it is so faithful Like, they don't take anything out for the most part, except if it's just like, we can't show that on TV. We have to censor it a little bit. We can't show a dog burning alive on screen or something like that. But there's some times where it's like, no, if he just took out that little bit, it would be better for it, but they don't do it. They just want to be that faithful. But yeah, it's. I almost wish if you're going to flash a card like that up for something in an anime, you better give me the numbers for it, though. I need to know the Luck and Pluck's attack power.
Hell yes.
Although thankfully JoJo's never really a thing that gets obsessed with like power numbers or anything like that. It's always just like the chess match. Dio's super pissed off now because his eye, he's actually been harmed by Hamon because of that rose. Like jumps back a little bit onto like the balcony that's a little further into the room. He calls Hamon more disgusting than frog urine.
Which is something he would know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was an ingredient in some of his childhood pranks.
Yeah. While JoJo is getting ready to fight Dio, Dio calls in the entirety of his zombie horde to come fight, essentially. And this is when we get the real freak show, because now we got guys with like multiple mouths and no eyeballs and all these other crazy features. Some of them have tubes, like sci-fi tubes, coming out of their body. I don't know where they got this stuff, but I love... because they start surrounding the other Hamon masters like straight so, and all the zombies just one by one start introducing themselves by name. I don't know why.
Straight so also introduces himself like he does at least half of his lines, just so we don't forget he exists.
Yeah.
Everyone but JoJo goes to fight the zombies and keep the big mass of them away from interrupting his strategy against Dio.
Yeah, like even Speedwagon appears to be attempting to fight.
He's also attempting to fight the narrator. He keeps explaining things before the narrator can, trying to emphasize how useful he is, that he needs to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a couple different alternating cuts of Straight So and Tom Petty like fighting the zombies and all that.
While fighting, they are continuing to explain Hamon. Please stop that. Just fight the zombies.
Yeah. Like, you don't need to explain, like, you're dropping the chandelier on these 4 zombies that literally just introduced themselves by name and then you melted them. Like, you don't need to explain how that chandelier works. I feel the one thing that is at least fairly clear at this point is that a lot of things can conduct Hamon, at least a little bit. And so, especially metal, because that was super clearly demonstrated with Bluford's sword, like, getting kicked with Hamon.
Which is, incidentally, exactly JoJo's plan. The sword will give him a reach advantage away from Dio's super freezing powers, and also be able to conduct Hamon.
Yeah. It's an okay plan, I guess.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
It's such a good plan that JoJo cuts Dio in half from the top of his head straight down to his belly button.
Yeah, I love this part.
Which I would normally call a killing blow, except we just saw a decapitated head participate in a fight, and that guy wasn't even a vampire. He was just a dude that breathes good.
Yeah. Yeah, Dio just gets nearly completely split in half vertically here. But Dio was able to, just in time, freeze just enough of the sword that JoJo wasn't able to pull it all the way clean through him. And Dio stabs his fingers into JoJo's neck and pulls out his carotid artery and just starts fiddling with it. It's gross.
Now, I don't know, like, there's a part of me that respects that Dio just keeps using ice powers. So there is an established threat. We have to solve this particular puzzle. But I wish that he used his incredible body control to pull out more weird shit.
Yeah.
Because if you can do ice powers with how in control you are of your vampire body, I'm very curious what else you got up your sleeve.
Yeah, like the only other like powers, quote unquote, we've seen is that he can do like he can make like chimeras. I guess he can fuck with the biology of other living things.
I mean, he's used his super strength to turn into wall crawling powers. There's an example.
Yeah, just
more like that.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I like this part where Dio is basically just talking about like, hey bro, I could turn you into like a real good zombie at any point. Like you're arteries in between my fingers right now. And while Dio is talking, the voice is coming out from each half of him is slightly out of sync with each other. They're doubling up.
Also, the way the visual of Dio's fingertips playing with JoJo's artery, very important, necessary for the scene to be clear. However, very gross, necessary to censor from the broadcast version.
Yeah.
The way they thread this is to, instead of cover things in a black shadow, they just absolutely black it out.
Yeah.
So you're seeing perfect silhouettes of the action. You're seeing it entirely clearly, just without any colors.
Yeah, basically. And it's still gross. Like
it's at this point, Saizo pauses, stops and turns to say he's too busy to help. Fuck you, Saizo.
Yeah, come on. But it turns out that JoJo had a plan, and that's slowly enacting the whole time. Dio is thankfully monologuing for a very long time about...
that's definitely part of the plan.
Yeah, JoJo's delicious blood and artery. So on this balcony, there's a bunch of lit torches, and directly behind Dio is one of those torches, and the sword, the tip of it, is in the flame, and it's slowly heating up the sword to the point where Dio's ice powers cannot freeze it fast enough. It's too hot now.
Always rely on fire working faster than Dio's powers. It's never gone wrong before. Yeah. Always works.
And so because it's unfreezing, JoJo's able to get Hamon going through the blade again. But before he can fully pull it through Dio's able to chop the blade real hard and break the sword. But JoJo's able to still land a punch on Dio. I love that it also, right after this, it cuts to the only instance we ever see of Speedwagon actually fighting. And all he's doing is holding a singular zombie back with a sledgehammer. He's not attacking anything, he's just holding it back.
Yeah, but he looks pretty cool with a sledgehammer.
I guess so. Maybe the sledgehammer is a upgrade after the knife hat.
Yeah. How disappointed was he when he saw that Zeppeli's hat, there was nothing hidden in the brim?
Yeah.
What a letdown.
It's a shame. He's got to mod it. He's got to mod Zeppeli's hat. But unfortunately, after JoJo landed that punch on Dio, Dio was still able to once again freeze JoJo's hand. And we do see one kind of new power of Dio's here. Because previously, even before he got cut in half, one of his arms got cut off. And he's able to reattach his arm by having his veins from his arm stump shoot out like tentacles and grab the arm and pull it to him.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Yes, absolute body control.
He can, his veins are stretchy tentacles that can grab stuff now. And so, Dio is very quickly healing all of his wounds now. He's reattached his arm. He takes his hands and pushes his two halves of his face together, but they're not quite aligned right, so he has to tap them, tap his chin to realign his face.
It's very good. It's very, very good.
That part rules. There's still just this big issue that JoJo just cannot land a killing blow because he just keeps getting frozen over and over and over again.
Like an 8-year-old on their birthday, they just keep getting frozen.
But this time, Dio leaps at JoJo, and JoJo's finally able to deliver a blow. He does a spin. He does multiple spins while approaching Dio, and he just is able to spin to the right just far enough to punch one of the torches so his fist bursts into flames, and he's able to punch clean through Dio, punch a hole clean through his chest because his fist is so hot it cannot be frozen now.
Which activates Dio's laser eyes.
Yeah, so Dio does show off yet another new power here, right then. I'm thinking Dio, with the laser eyes and stuff, I'm thinking Dio is still discovering new vampire powers because he hasn't had it for super long, maybe?
And it's either Straight So or Tom Petty that... Oh, good morning, baby.
A dog.
Watch out. Loki, you better watch out. Dio's gonna get you.
Oh, no.
Dio's gonna get you, baby. Better shush.
Gonna become a human dog.
But yeah, either Straight So or Tom Petty describes this as the last act of a demon, as if everyone knows that, when a demon's about to die, it shoots laser eyes.
Yeah. But yeah, Dio does that as he's falling off the. He's been punched off the balcony,
the highest tower of Castlevania itself.
Yeah,
and falls and falls, while the pure special hero boy weeps even for Dio, his evil brother that he hates so fucking much.
Yeah, even earlier in this episode, like I love Johnathan straight up going like, "Hey, this isn't just because you're bad. Like I just have given up myself to like wanting revenge. Like I just want to fucking murder you now, dude."
But he's so pure of heart that he's
still crying.
He still weeps.
And he collapses. He passes out after this fight. And Speedwagon, of course, immediately drops his sledgehammer so he can go cradle this huge man and shout to the moon that JoJo has won, Dio is dead. And that's the end of episode 8.
That's the end. What could possibly be left for episode 9? Just some sort of denouement, right? An epilogue to the adventures of Johnathan, Joestar, and friends? Well, it is called The Final Ripple. And we begin in media res, following Dio down that plunge. Araki never saw a head he couldn't detach, basically. Yeah. As Dio's body is melting away from this flaming Hamon punch, he cuts his own head off to preserve it.
Yeah. I love it. I love just karate chopping his own damn head off.
It's effective. It's shockingly effective, both as a karate chop to his own damn head and to stop him from dying.
Now, see, it's like you told me when you were editing the first episode that there's a part early on where I said, like, man, going back to part 1, it feels so tame now compared to later JoJo. But God, when I reflect on it now, it's like, man, even at the start, people are having galaxy-brained ideas of like, I need to live, time to cut my head off. I can't die here, please decapitate me.
Hey, the proof's in the pudding. It works.
It works. The apothecary.
Yes.
Who, you know, we've seen a couple times. He was the guy, last time we saw him, he was pushing around Dio in his special Dracula wheelchair.
Yeah, it's kind of like as he arrives to be the faithful servant once more, you start to wonder where he was during all the castle times.
Yeah, he must have been doing some like errand or something.
He was just like managing the staff, I guess.
Yeah. But he spots Dio's head falling while he's like in the woods for some reason, and he can like jump super far, so he just catches up with Dio's head and puts him in a little sack and just hops off with Dio's head into the night.
in his little head sack. So the episode proper starts now after that bum bum bum. Mm-hmm. So the newspapers are reporting what happened at Widnight's lot, but all the newspapers care about is a bunch of weirdos standing around Zeppeli's funeral pyre.
Yeah.
They took no notice of all of the vampires.
Yeah, it's just like weird. Like about 70 people died today.
About 70 people died. That's weird. There were these dudes standing around a weird fire. Nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, and also reports of a man. I love how detailed this specific report is. It's not even just, hey, a bunch of people died, and nearby there were a bunch of dudes standing around a fire. That's suspicious. But also somebody was so close to the events of this, they witnessed seeing Speedwagon smashing a curious stone mask with a sledgehammer. But yes, the stone mask has been destroyed.
Surely there is no more to fear. Thank you, Aria Speedwagon.
Oh, phew.
I love the character of Ario Speedwagon, but every time he does something, I'm like, I don't know if that's really his thing to do. Like, why?
Yeah.
Does he break it because he has Zeppeli's hat, and so he's finishing Zeppeli's quest? Why not the guy who inherited Zeppeli's life force?
All I can imagine is that Speedwagon did that while JoJo was still recovering or passed out, and he just really wanted to do it so he could say he did something.
But now we cut ahead a little more and realize that Arena is in about every third episode on average. Now is the time when we get to talk about her again.
Yeah.
Because she and JoJo have become wed.
Yay.
They are married. I'm sure his vows to her were something like, "This isn't about you. I only married you because a gentleman must take a wife. Don't get any ideas about this."
Oh, man.
Was Poco the ring bearer? That's nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, we see this news of them becoming getting married is in the newspaper that is being read by Speedwagon. Just hang out in some cafe somewhere. And then realizing, oh, fuck, I gotta go see them off on their trip to America. Is any second. Why am I just sitting in a cafe?
So yeah, he runs down to the docks and sees the big weirdo club, having already said their goodbyes, just hanging out together. Also, we are introduced to Father Styx.
Yes, there's a priest boarding the ship named Father Styx.
He has come sail away, I guess. So as Speedwagon rushes on to say his goodbyes, and Father Styx is set off toward America, there are some dock-working ruffians carrying a giant cask, a casket, you might say. It looks like it's from a Hellboy movie.
Yeah.
It's very ornate and very evil.
It's super dark. It's just like jet black and yeah. And as they're carrying it, they hear like one of the guys carrying it hears like a thumping from inside, and then something going like, and he's just like, anyone else hear this shit? And no one else has somehow. And they're also talking about like
the money spends. Who cares?
Yeah, some Asian dude hired us to carry this. Who cares? So that's definitely, not suspicious.
The apothecary zombie was hopping toward Dio's head to put him in the sack. Do you think that's a reference to Asian hopping vampires, or just hopping is cool?
I've always wondered that myself, like the hopping vampires. I think it's just the hopping was cool.
Okay.
Because he doesn't do it anywhere else, and the hopping is usually like small hops. Like, that's just how they get around, and these were like huge leaps, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's jumping like a man-sized flea.
Yeah. He's doing Hulk jumps.
So as Speedwagon wishes them well, he wishes to himself that there was a place for a colored commentator on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
He wants to be a third wheel so bad.
He loves it. I think he loves being a third wheel. Like every once in a while.
Can't stand the idea of being a whole ocean apart from JoJo.
Yeah. And now that the ship has set sail, some time passes, we see Irina on the deck of the ship. And she's just looking at a little cute bird that is sitting on the edge of the ship here and thinking,
and it makes her cry.
Yeah, it makes her cry because the bird's all alone. And then another cute bird comes up, and then they cuddle faces. They nuzzle each other. And that sets Irina into tears because it's just so beautiful.
It's okay, Irina. Me too.
Yeah.
So then she and her new husband have a conversation telepathically. They do not animate their mouths moving as they exchange words. I have no idea why. I guess they're so in tune, I guess?
I guess so, yeah. I just love the part where Irina's thinking to herself, like, man, Johnathan, even as a boy, you strove to be a true gentleman. Flashbacking to that scene where he's just like, fuck you, this isn't about you, it's about me!
One of JoJo's lines is wishing that his father knew about her. Like, he died not long ago. Like, you had a lot of time to talk about her when he was alive.
Yeah.
What was stopping you? So they're just doing honeymoon things.
Yeah.
Chilling out on this cruise ship. Going to fancy dinners, and Irina's enjoying some wine. JoJo just found out what wine is. Zeppeli would never let him have any, and he thinks it's pretty good stuff.
I guess so. We also get like a quick shot of Father Styx again. He's on the ship.
Oh, Father Styx.
Father Styx is an alcoholic. He's being sent to do like missionary work, but instead he's just getting wasted on this boat. And he accidentally drops his crucifix down through like a grating to the floor below, and it lands on top of that evil-looking casket in the storage room, the hold. So he goes off to go try to get down there and find his crucifix again.
When he gets down there, he notices that the latch is slightly popped, but it's still latched from the inside.
Yeah.
What? Why would you have a casket that locks from the inside? I gotta check this out. So the trunk has an anti-tampering device that sends a jewel through an attacker's skull.
Yeah, there's just like a crazy spring-loaded jewel, like ruby or something. Insane. And this
is how you kill the lockpicking lawyer, okay?
Oh my god, you're right. Holy shit. Yeah, I love that like spring-loaded gem. Like, it doesn't just like hit him on the head hard enough that he gets knocked out, or, you know, even just like sends a small hole into his head and he dies. This obliterates this dude's head. His whole fucking skull just pops. There is nothing left.
That's the end of Styx. So domo arigato to you.
Oh man, but yeah, JoJo, while having that meal with Irina, he sees off in the distance the apothecary and goes, "Oh fuck, Dio's still alive. Irina, go hide in our room, lock the door." And already, like, somebody on the ship has already turned into a zombie.
Yeah, this zombie thrall, clearly an obvious, not as wild and woolly as the zombie horde from last episode, but more a standard zombie thrall, sits down next to his wife and child, and I'm really hoping at this point that they just stay a happy family, and they make it work.
Yeah.
You know? That would be a nice show to watch.
Just don't get within 3 feet of dad and you're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, as JoJo descends down, chasing after the apothecary, he also ends up in the hold, gets near the casket, and the apothecary is there and lifts out of the casket Dio's severed head in a Futurama-style head jar. Yes,
he does. Dio's great plan is to save himself by taking the best body available, JoJo's.
Yeah, and the way Dio talks about JoJo now, like JoJo has finally earned Dio's respect because he was so thoroughly owned by him.
We've talked about Speedwagon's dedication to JoJo in this episode. Dio is enamored with him and his rockin' bod, but also this incredible respect for his abilities, and the whole rest of this encounter is all talk about their intertwined destinies, and like everybody has better chemistry with JoJo than Irina.
Yes.
Because she has no time, no spotlight to make a case for herself, except like, man, when birds are romantic, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And he shows zero interest in her whatsoever, except for like this gentlemanly responsibility to take a lady wife.
Yeah, it's part of that, I guess, is just a symptom of like part 1 going so fast, but. If there was ever a time where it's like, hey, we're remaking parts of JoJo or something like that, I would love to see part 1 actually like be extended, just so that there's like maybe some time for Irina to be a character somehow.
Yeah, and like the mud puddle thing, like, okay, Irina's got spunk. Does she ever show it again? No.
Yeah, because it's like that mud puddle thing.
Irina discovers Dio's weakness. Who cares? Nobody was paying attention.
I know. Like, if that could somehow play into like the defeat of Dio, like, you know, because she was the first one to suss out like what pisses him off and like puts him off guard and stuff. Like, that would be cool. Nah.
No.
Nah. Just from the opening, the intro playing at the start of each episode, if you add that, like, all that time of the intro playing each episode, that basically doubles the amount of screen time Irina has, basically.
Yeah. Like I said last week.
Yeah. You're right. But
so Dio just has laser eyes on command now.
Yeah, now that he got pissed off enough to shoot lasers from his eyes, he can just do it for whenever now.
Hell yes.
And it's like the first time he fired those lasers in the fight last episode, JoJo got like super lucky that he didn't get killed because the laser missed by only a few inches. It went clean through his hand instead of like through his neck or his brain.
But this time the neck is not so lucky.
Yeah, both lasers from Dio's eyes go clean into JoJo's neck. Like, he tries to block, but no, those lasers go clean through his hands, straight through his neck.
And as he collapses with this clearly fatal blow, which may not be because that's how this show goes.
Yeah.
He sinks down and like the blood squirts from his neck rhythmically with his pulse.
Oh God,
which is fucking gross.
It's super gross. Yeah, that part is nasty.
Meanwhile, back up on deck, I did not get my wish about a comedy of errors with Vampire Dad because he is eating people left and right. There's chaos. Yeah. This woman is running with her infant child away from not one, but now like a dozen or more recently turned vampire thralls.
Yeah, I want to point out that one of the other people running away from these zombies gets killed by a life ring.
How very ironic.
Whoa, there is a zombie, a really funny shot of a zombie that's got this life preserver, this life ring, and it's just spinning it around its hand really fast, and when he slings it, he has thrown it so fast that when it collides with this man's head, his head just fucking explodes.
It's good. It's very... The violence is very good.
The violence is just absurd. Yeah, this lady and her baby... caught on both sides. They're in between two zombies now, and the lady gets hit with an axe, and she comes crashing down into the storage room where Dio and Johnathan are fighting, and Arena's there as well.
right near the engine works of the steamship.
Yeah, near the engine works actually.
Big wheels and pistons and pumping business.
Yeah. The woman has died, but the baby, she was able to shield the baby. The baby's still alive, and it's crying now.
Darn baby. Your life isn't so hard. You were just born. You don't know what pain is.
Yeah, I got lasers shot through my fucking neck. But the apothecary is slowly approaching Johnathan with one arm held up so he can balance Dio's head jar on his arm, like he's a serving tray or something. Mm-hmm. He is not heeding Dio's warnings that, like, hey, even though I just shot him clean through the neck and he's dying... That JoJo's a wily one. He can still fuck you up, maybe. Don't get close.
Yeah, he refers to his Hamon mischief.
Yes.
Which, like, hey man, Hamon's all about mischief. Sometimes it involves frogs, sometimes it doesn't, but it's all mischief.
This is the first time where we get hear the apothecary's name.
Yes.
Wang Chan.
Wang Chan, Dr. Wang Chan.
Yeah.
And his eyebrows and mustache wiggle around like spider legs.
They do. Dio instructs Wang Chan to go, just cut JoJo's head clean off. But JoJo assumes a fighting stance and he's like, whoa, step the fuck back, Wang Chan. He's about to do something. And Wang
Chan does not listen. He is not, he's not seen JoJo fight before. At least since JoJo got Hamon.
Yeah. He gets poked.
He gets poked.
He gets the Hamon poke.
JoJo focuses and sends all of his remaining Hamon into this poke. He's completely drained because Hamon, which as we know is sun blood breath, is also exhaustible. You can run out of it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The way I have come to rationalize how Hamon is that because it's life energy, everyone always has like a little bit because they're alive. And, like, the breathing just gives you way more than normal. And so, like, that can be exhausted unless you start breathing again, then you, like, replenish it. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just the way, like, Zeppeli's like, here's my remaining energy, and then he dies. Well, I mean, he was already cut in half, but whatever.
He was half a lot of things at that point.
It's true. Yeah, it just always feels like, there's combat Hamon, and then, like, you're just alive Hamon. And, like, you can expend that too, but it kills you. I don't know.
He uses his alive Hamon in order to do a very special poke on Dr. Wang, which blows his head off.
Yep.
But also sends him into the machinery to act as a human, or rather ex-human brake. To hold the machinery in place so that pressure will build and the ship will explode, sending Dio to the watery depths for all of time.
This is, I guess this is technically the second time that Johnathan has, like, used his Hamon to make something, like, act on command for him, sort of, because when he was fighting Doobie in the previous episode, I forgot to mention that, like, he grabbed all the snakes from Doobie's head and, like,
Yes.
used Hamon on them to make them bite Doobie in the face?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess there is precedent.
Yeah.
I just think this all would have been explained better if Speedwagon had been on the boat.
Yeah. Oh, missing Speedwagon already. He's been gone for 10 minutes.
So this is the plan. Dio has figured out the plan. JoJo cannot explain his plan because he is on death's door. Mm-hmm. He only has enough strength to argue with his wife about whether she should save herself or not.
Yes.
But she sees the baby, this orphan baby, and goes to seize it and raise it as her own. And I'm thinking, aha, this is how we get a generational story out of a hero who has clearly never fucked.
Yeah.
Dio is not ready to go down with the ship. He cries out, "Zombies hither!"
Yeah,
fancy lad to the last, Dio Brando.
Yeah, he's trying to command the zombies to eat Wang Chan's body so that the ship won't explode, but it's too late. The ship is already the engine's already starting to build pressure and blow up a bit. Irina decides that she has to leave Johnathan. She has to try to escape with this baby. Mm-hmm. And also, we should mention, like, when Wang Chan's body was sent flying over to the engine works, Dio leapt out of the head jar with his hair. His hair he can now command his hair to grab stuff. So he's just hanging like from the rafters right now. Just
absolute command over every part of his body. What part don't you understand?
Dio is still trying to, actually, even before that, like, because the engine is starting to blow up a bit, Johnathan is able to stand up one more time to shield Irina from the shrapnel of parts of the engine exploding. So now he's got huge chunks of metal embedded in his back.
He is going to sacrifice himself 5 different ways before the ship sinks.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like, Christ-like, this JoJo.
Yes.
Everything but the resurrection, and hell, I don't know what happens in the next episode. Maybe.
Who knows? Yeah, right? Anything can happen. Like, he could just be ahead by the end of this, and he might be fine. But yeah, Dio decides, wait, there's still a way for me to enact my plan, because he shoots out veins from his neck stump to wrap around JoJo's neck. And he's like, you know what? I could still cut your head off, and I can survive this explosion because the casket I was brought in is super reinforced and could withstand even a ton of dynamite. So I'm just going to hide in the casket and ride out the explosion with your body, and I'll be good. As he is, wrapping his vein tentacles around JoJo's neck and flying towards him, JoJo uses the last of his strength to just hug Dio's head super tight.
Which is a really intimate moment. For a bit, I'm starting to wonder if JoJo forgot which person in this room he married.
Yeah.
But, like, they're talking about their interwoven lives, and, like, he's basically cradling the head very gently. I mean, it's the softest that his face has ever been drawn, even.
Yes.
Like, there's... No, smooch him! Smooch him! Why aren't you smooching?
Even from the start of JoJo, it gets more in later parts as, like, the style of it changes and stuff. But even from the start, damn, there's a decent amount of, like, stuff where it's like, yo, you tell me these 2 dudes don't love each other? These guys aren't gay? Like, especially later parts of JoJo, it totally, like, the way it's drawn and stuff, and the way the like male character designs are. It's one of the first times I've gone like, damn, are they actually drawing these dudes just to be super hot? Is this the first shonen, like, manga I've ever seen where the dudes are supposed to be hot on purpose for, like, an audience that generally doesn't read this stuff? Like, but yeah, it's like a super intimate hug he gives Dio's head.
But, you know, JoJo's many layers of sacrifice work out. The ship explodes, and his wife and this baby survive inside the reinforced casket, using it as their lifeboat, sailing on to America. So now Irina gets some of the last words, her own narration, where she confirms not only does she have a baby, she's going to have a baby. She got wedding night pregnant.
Yep.
Because of course she did.
So now we got 2 potential new characters, maybe.
What a special hero boy.
Yep.
Had sex one time and he's going to be a dad.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, the ship has exploded. It's sunk down to the depths. Dio and Johnathan are both just sinking to the bottom of the ocean, and they're dead, and it's just Arena and these two babies. Mm-hmm. And that is the end of part 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Johnathan fucking dies.
I wonder if the adopted kid will turn out to be evil when it grows up.
Whoa.
Who could have seen it coming? But we get sort of a farewell to the part with the sky fills up with floating head images of all of the characters we've come to know and love. Mm-hmm. First is Danny, obviously.
Yes, it's Danny. At first I was thinking like, oh, does this go in the order of deaths? It doesn't.
No, not all the people up there are even dead.
Yeah. The first time I watched this, because I went into JoJo not knowing a ton, but did know that, like, hey, this is like a generational story with, you know, multiple protagonists of the same bloodline and all of that. But I wasn't expecting the first protagonist to fucking eat it. I thought it was just, you know, like he gets old.
After only one bizarre adventure, frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the title. It's not plural. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There's no S on the end.
Yeah.
He gets one. Yeah, it was slightly
shocking to me that Johnathan just fucking eats it 9 episodes into the first season.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the things that, like, made JoJo kind of different when it first came out, like when it was a weekly manga and like Shonen Jump or whatever, was that it was kind of like you weren't supposed to kill your protagonists in Shonen Jump. You weren't really like, not quite like disallowed from doing that, but it was just like, don't do that. But yeah, like very early on, killing the first protagonist.
We're trying to sell that guy. You can't kill that guy.
Yeah, what are you doing? But that made it kind of like stand out from the other stuff, going like, fucking check this shit out. He fucking dies.
But that's not the end of the episode. There is sort of a stinger teaser for part 2, where we zoom through this Aztec tunnel that becomes very like Geiger. It becomes like the relic from Alien, basically, but in stone instead of whatever that shit from Alien's made of.
Yeah.
And there's a thing. There's a figure of a person. What?
Yeah, there's a big like stone pillar or column in this like chamber in the end of this ruin of this temple or whatever. And there's just like a stone carving of some dude with crazy metal hair, just carved into it. And that's where it ends off. To be continued.
And I'm sure we're going to learn all about that next time in part 2.
Oh yeah.
Well, I say next time, but next time we're actually going to talk about part 1 as a whole, seeing it as a complete, now tied off with a bow thing. But before we move on to watching part 2. But I guess we can talk a little bit before that about our thoughts on this specific part of part 1, episodes 7 through 9.
I really like episode 9. Part just thinking back to my first watch.
It's a much more satisfying final confrontation than episode 8.
Yeah, like when I was watching it for the first time and like Dio gets defeated in episode 8, I was just like, okay, well, I mean, it was kind of a fun battle. Like, you know, some of Dio's new powers happening, like getting split in half and like just reassembling himself, and, you know, the trick of setting his fist on fire. That stuff was all like satisfying, but it didn't feel climactic, and I thought that was weird. But yeah, then once you hit episode 9, and it's a lot more satisfying that way. Yeah, and also like
Dio pulling out all of the tricks and JoJo finding a way to resist on the edge of death.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just a much more like satisfying conclusion to like the Johnathan Dio relationship, I guess. I think it's a more interesting ending than just Johnathan beat Dio. Like they go down together.
Yeah.
I before we even started doing the first episode of this podcast, I think I remember telling you, I'm curious if you could find like any themes or get any read on JoJo, because I have a hard time with it because it's just fucking crazy. And also because it was a weekly manga, the story and ideas are frequently getting changed or, you know, being written, you know, it's just flying by the seat of its pants, especially early on.
You don't say. What's Hamon do again?
I don't know. It commands snakes.
It's sun breath blood that punches snakes into a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is one thing from part 1, I think, that is kind of a common thread through it, in that in the world of JoJo, if you are trying to be a noble hero, like kind of like the typical shonen protagonist of the time, which Johnathan kind of is.
The time being the mid-'80s.
The mid-'80s, yeah. He is just like a strong, good-hearted guy. He's a good guy, just, generic good guy, kind of. And trying to be that in the world of JoJo just gets you killed. Because, like, Jonathan's dad fucking literally dies by getting stabbed in the back because he was too kind, and that all of those too kind actions, like, led to Dio just fucking killing him.
But it will earn you the world's devotion. Everybody who has any nobility in their heart at all will see you as a paragon and follow you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah, but it just doesn't mean you get to live and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Like, because Johnathan continued, like, his dad's, like, belief of trying to be, like, the noble, like, hero, the noble man. And he fucking dies by trying to be that, too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, like, the one, like, kind of consistent thing I think I found through JoJo, like, in part 1 at least.
I don't know how much consistent you're going to find in anything that's been running for over 30 years.
I mean, it's
things
super
change,
changes.
People change, their interests change, obviously.
Yeah, but at least in the early parts.
There's a lot to say about the immutability of fate.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a death prophecy and two people going down together because one could not find a way to defeat the other one and still live.
Yeah.
And just being born into a noble family, there's a sense in which JoJo's life was planned out as soon as he was born. Not necessarily the way the people living in his country town thought. Fate had different plans, but fate had plans.
Mm-hmm. I like the weird... I don't know if I'd say but I enjoy that this episode introduces Father Styx and then kills him 10 minutes later. He gets named and everything. It seems like he might be important. It's just like, no, he's just the first guy that gets to Dio's casket.
You know what's good against vampires? Priests. No, actually, they're not. They're not good. That's wrong.
Their heads just get exploded by booby-trapped jewels.
I'm kind of holding off. I do have more thoughts, but I want to put them in context of the whole part of part 1. So I think I'm just going to set those notes aside for next week. Okay. And thank you all for joining us once again. This has been Bizarre Podcast, Dogs Must Die.
Frog Mischief.
Beheading buddies.
Yeah.
And please give us a rating and review, why don't you? I'm sure those are available to be had by now that we've been running for 3 weeks.
Probably.
Yeah. And just reach out to us on social media or whatever to find, so we know what you're thinking, what you're enjoying, what you do and don't agree with about what we're saying. Mm-hmm. Because I'd love to make this, this is obviously a conversation between two people, but I'd love to open that up a bit wider with the world.
Yeah, totally.
So once again, thank you, and we will be back next time talking about part 1 as a whole. Mm-hmm. Bye.
All right, see ya.